Hello, everyone, and welcome. You are watching Eagle News America. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ace Ramirez, coming to you from Washington, D.C. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents from across North America. Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta.
In Canada, a doctor is murdered, chainsaw-wielding hoodlums terrorize the Toronto beach, and pandas at a zoo are running out of food.
Abigail Dumlao in Rochester, New York. New York City launches resource portal to help tenants at risk of eviction. EJ Gonzalez in Alexandria, Virginia.
Virginia launches COVIDWISE app, alerting users of potential coronavirus exposure.
Anna Cui in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas Convention Center expansion continued despite COVID-19.
Mike Hudson in Everett reports about Washington State releasing new COVID-19 restrictions for gyms, weddings, and funerals. Emerson Simon in Sylmar, California.
Los Angeles assists renters with relief program.
And Alfred Asenas in Hawaii reports about Honolulu County employees testing positive for COVID-19. Plus, a conversation with our Eagle News team about college majors and what things to consider before choosing them. But first, an overview of the COVID-19 situation. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday, August 12th, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 20,100,000. This includes more than 5,100,000 in the U.S. and more than 122,000 in Canada. The virus has claimed more than 737,000 lives worldwide. This includes more than 164,000 deaths in the U.S. and over 9,000 in Canada. Our coverage begins now. South Africa's health ministry said Saturday more than 10,000 people have died from coronavirus in the country since the pandemic arrived in March. The continent's most industrialized economy has registered 553,188 infections, more than half of the continental caseload, and the fifth biggest number of COVID-19 cases in the world. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize said in his daily update that 301 new virus-related deaths had been recorded. He said this means they have breached the 10,000 mark, with 10,210 cumulative deaths now recorded. More than half of the deaths registered on Saturday were in the southeastern KwaZulu-Natal or KZN province. The National Assembly announced Saturday that the KZN-based veteran opposition politician and lawmaker, 91-year-old Mangosuthu Buthelezi, had tested positive for coronavirus, but was asymptomatic. Buthelezi led the once feared Zulu Nationalist Inkatha Freedom Party, or IFP, that presided over South Africa's deadliest violence ahead of the country's first all-race elections in 1994 until he stepped down last year. Mkhize said, and I quote, "The peak is here, the peak is where we are." While South Africa is the continent's hardest hit nation in terms of infections, its mortality rate at around 1.8% is one of the lowest among countries with high numbers of cases. Meanwhile, U.S. Health Minister Alex Azar, the most senior cabinet minister to visit Taiwan since 1979, in a speech to public health students and teachers at National Taiwan University, lambasted the Chinese government for its lack of transparency during the initial coronavirus outbreak. Let's take a look.
The Chinese Communist Party has had the chance to warn the world and work with the world on battling the virus, but they chose not to, and the costs of that choice mount higher every day. As the virus emerged, the People's Republic of China did not live up to the binding obligations it had under the international health regulations, betraying the cooperative spirit we need for global health. The world has now experienced two serious viruses that have emerged from China in the past 2 decades, SARS and COVID-19. The issue is not which country is the source. The issue is how that country responds. There is very little about diplomacy that is simple. But when it comes to health, the expectations of the world community are quite common sense. You can't get anywhere without transparency.
In other news, White House hopeful Joe Biden on Tuesday named Kamala Harris, a black U.S. Senator from California, as his choice for vice president, capping a months-long search for a Democratic partner to challenge President Donald Trump in November. 77-year-old Biden said on Twitter, and I quote, "I have the great honor to announce that I've picked at Kamala Harris, a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants, as my running mate." His team stated that the two Democrats will deliver remarks on Wednesday in Wilmington, Delaware, as they kick off their campaign to defeat President Trump, a Republican. Kamala Harris has been described as a trailblazer. The 55-year-old Harris is fond of recounting, and I quote, "My mother used to have a saying. She would say to me, you may be the first to do many things, but make sure you're not the last." Harris was the first Black Attorney General of California, the first woman to hold the post, and the first woman of South Asian heritage to be elected in the U.S. Senate. She's now seeking to become the first female vice president of the United States. When we come back, updates from our correspondents. Eagle News America will return after this break. Stay with us.
Hello there, I'm Alfred, and I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, batch of 2008 in New Era University. I'm currently working as an operations analyst in Autodesk.
Hi, I'm Earl Escanio, and I graduated with Bachelor of Science major in Computer Science in 2010. I am a consultant at Trinity Consulting, LLC.
Hi, I'm Ivy Nakapagal, Bachelor's in Computer Science graduate, year 2010. I am currently working as a cybersecurity analyst in one of the largest telco here in New Zealand, Coast Park, NZ.
I'm Frank David Riego, a BS Computer Science graduate here in 2015. As a legal analyst, I am tasked to read US cases, specifically civil torts cases.
I am Melanie Rico Hermosa P, a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science graduate, year 2006.
I'm currently a software quality assurance engineer at FBI Systems here in Maryland, United States.
Hi, I'm Renzo Cruz. I'm a graduate of BS Computer Science, year 2012. I'm currently working abroad, and I'm working as a senior cybersecurity consultant who specializes in digital forensics and incident response. And I am part of a national security in one of the countries here in the Middle East.
I am inviting everyone to study at New Era University. To legit, to grit.
Be brilliant in the new era.
Study now at New Era University.
Excellence,
Discipline,
Service to humanity.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez in Washington, D.C. In Canada, a doctor killed in Red Deer, chainsaw-wielding hoodlums terrorize a Toronto beach, and pandas at a zoo are running out of food. In Edmonton, Bureau Chief Thomas Likeness reports.
Good evening, Ace. I hope all is well with you. We have a potpourri of stories for you tonight from Canada. But first, a tragic story from central Alberta and Western Canada. A doctor in the city of Red Deer has been murdered in his office. Police called to a walk-in clinic at a shopping mall yesterday after reports of a man attacking a physician with a hammer. The victim, 45-year-old Dr. Walter Reynolds. He had a wife, 2 children. Police say the doctor was targeted. They arrested a 54-year-old man at the scene. He's charged with premeditated murder. No indication of the motive. In Ontario, police kept busy rounding up 2 men wielding chainsaws on a Toronto beach. Police say the pair had been involved in a large brawl at the scene. They left, then they returned with the weapons. A video posted on social media showed the 2 shirtless men revving up the chainsaws, yelling threats at a crowd of people. They quickly scattered. One of the suspects was bleeding from a laceration on his head. The duo were in court today, facing several charges. Well, airline passengers who don't want to put on a face mask on domestic flights in Canada will now require medical proof that they can't wear one. A new federal transport order will no longer take people at their word when they say they have difficult breathing with a mask on. There's still 2 exceptions: infants and people unable to remove the mask without assistance. Meanwhile, in the city of Edmonton, my city, City Council saying a person's word is good enough. Your word is good enough to get an exemption from face masks. Now, just last week, they passed a bylaw requiring masks to be worn in all indoor public spaces, shopping centers, recreation centers, any place where the public gathers, as well as public transit. Now they've caved to those who don't want to comply. The city's handing out exemption cards to those unable to wear a mask due to physical or health conditions, but no proof required, no questions asked. You just go up, ask for your exemption card, you'll get it. They'll even give you extras for family members. Intensive care doctor Darren Markland not impressed. He says the cards completely invalidate the city bylaw. He adds that he believes there are very, very few people that have legitimate medical exemptions. Markland says people in the city have to realize that COVID-19 is still a real risk. He says he sees the worst. He's in intensive care. He's adding that young people are dying from the disease. Since the weekend, nearly 3,800 of those cards handed out. And a pair of pandas. They're on loan from China to the Calgary Zoo. They're facing a food shortage. Zoo officials say they're running out of bamboo. The pandemic has made it difficult to replenish those stocks. The animals, well, they eat a lot of that stuff. They consume about 40 kilograms of fresh bamboo every day. After the international borders were shut down, the zoo turned to farms in British Columbia for a temporary domestic supply, but that's apparently going to run out in September. The pandemic has also stalled plans to send the pandas back to China. They're supposed to be here until 2024. They want to send them back now because that's where bamboo is abundant and easy to access. In the meantime, I wish you all good health. Take care of others. Take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Tom, you said just ask for an exemption. In one of your stories, just ask for an exemption card, and you'll get it, no questions asked.
No questions asked. A reporter went up and asked for one. They didn't even question him. And apparently they you can say, I need one for my mother too. And oh yeah, sure, have one. It's really just, I don't get it. I don't get it. I realize there are people that are upset they have to put a mask on, but I don't know, 3,800 of these things in 2 days. I think there's a little bit of abuse there.
Exactly. Why come with an announcement that requiring masks to be worn in public places and then giving out these exemption cards? I don't get it either.
Yep, it is beyond me. And it's beyond me why they cave. It's not even an election year.
Well, thank you so much, Thomas. In Virginia, Virginia launches the COVIDWISE app alerting users of potential coronavirus exposure. In Alexandria, EJ Gonzalez will tell us more. EJ.
Thanks, Ace. Think about this. What if there was a way to be alerted in real time if someone around you is COVID positive? With modern technology, it is possible. Virginia is the first in the country to use Apple and Google's Bluetooth framework to alert users of potential virus exposure while still protecting personal privacy. Many of us experience paranoia, fear, and even anxiety when we go out in public just because we don't know if we will come into contact with someone who may be infected with the virus. That is why public health authorities and technology companies such as Apple and Google are building smartphone apps, which can tremendously assist in contact tracing. This is when health workers collect data of people who may have potentially come into contact with someone who tested positive for a virus. A downside to contact tracing, however, is when one forgets or doesn't know the person they may have come into contact with. That's when the benefit of contact tracing apps such as COVIDWISE comes into play. Contact tracing apps are best used when more people download and use the app. Many might be skeptical, though, on how developers will handle personal information, and it's totally understandable. Google and Apple engineers have been working together to develop public health technology which protects individual privacy so that people will never have to choose between protection of privacy and their health safety. This app will not be able to track your location, and it does not share your identity with Apple, Google, nor other app users. This is how it works. For every phone that is opted in, their technology disguises identity by generating a random sequence of numbers that changes every 10 to 20 minutes. Then, with Bluetooth, when a phone detects another device that is opted in and has been within the same proximity for 15 minutes, the two devices then exchange those random numbers. Now, what happens if someone tested positive? Individuals who tested positive for COVID-19 will then be notified by a VDH case investigator, and they will be given a unique numeric code. The user may then anonymously enter this code into the app, which serves as a verification of a positive report. Any phones that exchange random numbers with that user within the last 14 days will then receive a notification which reads, "You have likely been exposed to someone who has tested positive for COVID-19. This is your alert to get tested." Again, this all happens without revealing personal information or identity. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam said, quote, "We must continue to fight COVID-19 from every possible angle. The COVIDWISE exposure notification app gives you an additional tool to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community while maintaining your personal privacy. I encourage all Virginians to download and use this app so we can work together to contain this virus." The COVIDWISE app is now available on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, and a direct link for download and additional information can be found at vdh.virginia.gov/COVIDWISE. In Alexandria, Virginia, EJ Gonzalez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
EJ, I understand you're a tech guy. How do you feel about this app personally, and would you consider using it?
Well, you know, considering how Google explained how the app works and how it doesn't collect any information from users, I feel like COVIDWISE is an application worth checking out. However, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I may panic a bit if I received that notification saying I've been exposed. But you know, some people say ignorance is bliss, but in this case, knowledge is power. And if I learned that I may have been exposed, it wouldn't only benefit me to get tested, but it allows me the chance to contact any of my loved ones that I've recently been in contact with. So I definitely think there's a huge advantage and a good benefit in downloading this app.
Right, I agree. You know, seeing that message, you have been exposed, or someone 10 feet away from you is COVID positive, that may cause some more anxiety, but that's right, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, but you know, once you find out, you know, it'll only help you and your loved ones. So I definitely think, again, it is a good possibility to use this app.
That's right. I agree. Thanks, EJ.
Thank you, Ace.
Coming up, more updates from our correspondents. We will return shortly. Stay with us. This is Eagle News America.
Hello po. Ako po si Marco Sison. Abangan po natin ang part 2 ng Tagisan ng Galing dito lang sa Net 25.
Robin, and I'm 5 years old. My mom and dad said many people are getting sick. That is why we have to stay at home. That is why I cannot go to school. I cannot play outside, and I cannot even visit my friends. We can only go outside if we visit the doctor, or if we need to buy some food. And when we get home, we have to wash our hands. While I'm at home, I do my homework, clean up my toys, help cooking our food, and help my parents with their work. Please stay home so we can all play together again. Bye!
Hi! Ito po ulit si Melda Papin. Abangan ang part 2 ng Tagisan ng Galing dito po sa Net 25.
Accurate and fair reporting. Not only from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, but also abroad. Detailed and timely stories relevant to people all over the world. Catch all of these at Net 25. Your reliable source of news, entertainment, and technology updates.
Bukas na po ang auditions para sa Tagisan ng Galing Part 2. Mag-audition na po kayo sapagkat mahigit sa 7 million pesos ang nag-aantay na papremyo sa kategorya ng sayawan at kantahan. Opo, Tagisan ng Galing Part 2. Dito lamang po yan sa Net 25.
Mga kababayan, lalo na sa mga OFWs sa Middle East at North Africa, may good news kami para sa inyo. Mapapanood na ninyo ang Net25 at iba pang Filipino channels na hatid ng OSN sa presyong abot kaya. Libre ng box at installation, walang admin fees at no extra charges. Saktong entertainment na sakto lang sa budget mo. Bumisita na sa pinakamalapit na OSN store o dealer. And subscribe now! Sa Net25 at OSN. Siguradong at home ka dito. The biggest and widest talent competition in Philippine television continues with over 7 million pesos in cash prizes. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2. 3 winners will be chosen in each category. Singing category, second runner-up will receive 500,000 pesos. First runner-up will receive 1 million pesos. And for the grand champion, 2 million pesos. Dance category, second runner-up will receive 500,000 pesos. First runner-up will receive 1 million pesos. And for the grand champion, 2 million pesos. Audition now. Send your 3-minute performance video to tagisananggaling@gmail.com. For inquiries, call Nikki at 0977-651-9504 or 8784-7450, local 1363. Shane at 0995-880-8004 or 8784-7450, local 1415. Don't forget to like and follow Tagisan ng Galing's Facebook fan page. And subscribe to Tagisan ng Galing's YouTube channel for more announcements. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2 is presented by Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Net25.
Pagkakaalam ko po, kahit kailan, hindi po lumabog ang araw. Ang mundo po ang tumatalikod sa araw, kaya po dumidilim.
Napakaganda ng pelikula, napakagaling ng director.
I highly recommend po yung pelikula, panoorin niyo po.
Panoorin niyo po ito kasi for sure gagaan niyo po.
Opening natin, successful siya. Hopefully, magtuloy-tuloy itong Make It Real. Taon-taon makapag-produce tayo ng mga bagong filmmakers na makakatulong natin sa mga susunod ng project ng EBC Films.
Let's make it real!
Sa lahat, nagpapasalamat po ko sa ating Panginoong Diyos.
Alam po namin merong uuwing panalo pero wala pong uuwing talo.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez in Washington, D.C. New York City launches a resource portal to help tenants who are at risk of eviction. In Rochester, Abigail Dumlao reports.
Hi, Ace. Mayor Bill de Blasio announced the launch of the New York City Tenant Resource Portal, the city's first ever online resource to help residential renters access free resources from the city. The portal features an eviction prevention tool to help renters navigate free public and private resources that can stabilize their housing situations. Mayor Bill de Blasio said the city is doing everything in our power to support vulnerable families as they deal with public health and economic crisis. We are unveiling the first city-hosted platform where tenants at risk of eviction can go to find a directory of all the housing-related resources they may need. The portal is free and accessible to all residential tenants. For the numbers, New York has conducted 6.6 million tests for COVID-19. Of the 77,000 tests reported yesterday, 667 were positive. Sadly, there were 6 deaths. Governor Andrew Cuomo released a new Mask Up America public service announcement highlighting the effective use of masks during the 1918 deadly influenza pandemic that infected 500 million people, a third of the world's population. The advertisements features archival photos of the use of masks during the 1918 outbreak to inspire Americans to wear masks today. The PSA campaign has been viewed by over 4 million Americans nationwide. In Rochester, New York, Abigail Dumlao, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you.
Abby, New York State is experiencing dangerous heat conditions until tomorrow, temperatures ranging from low 90s to 100 degrees. How are you coping? Swimming?
I'm trying to stay indoors as much as possible, and I'm drinking a lot of water to stay hydrated, and if I have to go outside, I put on sunscreen.
Good advice. Hey, thanks, Abby.
Thank you, Ace.
Expansion of the Las Vegas Convention Center continues despite COVID-19. In Las Vegas, Bureau Chief Anna Cui reports.
Thank you, Ace. Yes, the Las Vegas Convention Center West Hall expansion continues despite of the pandemic. The project actually started last year, and a disclaimer, the construction company emphasizes in their updates that they continue to follow CDC and Clark County Health Department guidelines for worker safety regarding COVID-19. This expansion will add 1.4 million square feet to the convention center and is slated to be completed by the end of 2020. It is a huge, vital investment by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. They want to make sure that they keep their position as the country's #1 trade show destination. In addition to this expansion, the tunneling of the underground transportation, which they're calling the People Mover, it's a project of the Boring Company, also started late last year. This visionary underground transportation system will debut along with the West Hall expansion in early 2021. Now, the convention center here in Las Vegas spans about over 2 miles from one end of the center to the next. And, during a convention with fighting the crowd, getting from one end to another, it can take about 15 to 20 minutes. So depending on how busy it is. So this convention center loop is another name that they're calling it, will help convention attendees to move throughout the 200-acre convention campus in just 1 minute. In related news, we know that millions of people started working from home also because of the pandemic, and they will probably continue to do so for the foreseeable future. So to attract more visitors to the city, MGM Resorts International started a program. They unveiled it. They're calling it Viva Las Office, which according to their recent press release is the quote, ultimate home away from home office experience. And this is to be available at 2 of their properties, Bellagio and Aria. What's special about it, Ace? Well, you get to enjoy their amenities for one. They'll have flexible check-in and check-out time. It will come with an executive assistant who will handle all your reservations, and also a special access to their discounted airfare through their contracted hop-on jet service. So how about that? Nothing like working from home Vegas style. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Anna, so these big conventions not happening in Vegas this year, huh?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
Yes, we were really looking forward to NAB this year. Thomas from Alberta was going to come and join us, right, Thomas? But it usually, that usually happens in April. Then, SEMA, which is the biggest automotive trade show, also happens here in Las Vegas, only in Las Vegas, and that's in November. So yes, these are the fun events that our bureau look forward to, in covering. Not to mention CES, right? The biggest tech show also usually happens in January. And initially, Consumer Technology Association, who owns CES, announced that they will move forward with the convention in January 2021. But as of last month, their latest update is it's not going to happen. They're going to push for online for CES 2021. Back to you, Ace.
Thanks, Anna. I'm pretty sure it's hurting the economy as well.
Yes, but it is what it is, and we just continue to to be safe, and we just we wait and be patient, wait this pandemic out.
That's right. Okay, thank you,
Thanks, Dave.
Anna. It releases new COVID-19 restrictions for gyms, weddings, and funerals. Eagle News correspondent Michael Hudson in Everett has the details.
Hi, so the hot story today comes from the state of Washington as gyms, funerals, and weddings are given a new set of COVID-19 restrictions when it comes to running their operations. When it comes to weddings and funerals, only a max occupancy of 30 people are allowed, and this covers both indoor and outdoor ceremonies. As it comes to gyms, they are now required to expand the space between people when they're working out. So some gyms are big enough to handle restrictions, but others aren't big enough to make the necessary changes. So here are the specific restrictions coming from Governor Jay Inslee. Number one, distancing requirements are increased from 6 feet to 300 square feet per person, except while practicing team sports. For larger facilities, occupancy is limited to 25%. Everyone is required to wear a face covering indoors except during strenuous exercise and must put the face covering back on after the activity. Showers, hot tubs, saunas, steam rooms, tanning beds, squash, and racquetball courts are all closed, and locker rooms will be limited for hand washing and restrooms only. With these restrictions comes some backlash from some of the gym owners. A petition has been created which contains thousands of signatures already, and it claims that these new restrictions will put a lot of these smaller health and fitness centers out of business for good. So as it comes to the gym, I can tell you right now, I went to the gym yesterday and got a quick workout in, and these restrictions were being implemented pretty well. We were required to wear a face mask at all times, as I stated before, and the employees were literally wiping down every piece of equipment and mopping the floor every 15 to 20 minutes or so. So I believe that if gyms continue implementing these protocols, we should have smooth sailing as we hold on for a vaccine to be administered. So before I go this evening, I wanted to share with you the current numbers as it comes to the COVID-19 virus. Right now, the positive cases are at 66,237, and the deaths are at 1,781. Reporting from Everett, Washington, I'm Michael Hudson. We live in interesting times.
LA County assists renters with a relief program. In Sylmar, we have Emerson Simon with the details.
Thank you, Ace. Los Angeles County provides rental assistance to struggling tenants. With unemployment numbers rising throughout the United States, especially in California and the many areas of Los Angeles County, Americans, Californians, and Los Angelinos find themselves struggling to make ends meet as they try to keep a roof over their heads during this unprecedented times. In an effort to provide their residents with additional resources during this pandemic, Los Angeles County and 211 Los Angeles are partnering together to assist those in need of help with their monthly rental payments. Beginning next week on Monday, August 17, Los Angeles County renters can apply for the Los Angeles County COVID-19 rent relief. To receive this much needed assistance, this program is geared towards helping tenants make their monthly rent payments and provide property owners the protection for rental income. Applications submissions for this program begins August 17th through August 31st. This program is open to all Los Angeles County renters struggling to make their rent and financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic with eligibility based on their total household income level. In addition to these eligibility requirements, The landlord must also be able to provide W-9 forms along with a signed participation agreement in order to have the rent paid on behalf of the tenant. Please also note that this program does not apply to renters in apartment complexes or units in the city of Los Angeles. For anyone interested in this rent relief program, they are urged to apply next Monday by dialing 211 or at their website at 211la.org/LA County/rent relief. In Los Angeles County, the number of new cases increased today with 1,440 newly reported cases and 63 new deaths. The total number of confirmed cases in the county are 211,808 with 5,057 deaths and 1,524 hospitalizations as announced today by the Los Angeles Public Health Department. Meanwhile, the state of California now has a total of 574,411 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 10,468 deaths, as recorded by the California Department of Public Health. In Sonoma, California, Emerson Simon, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
Emerson, this is a great program for county residents, but there are a lot of renters who have been financially impacted because their hours were either reduced or their company closed down due to the pandemic. How's the selection process?
Yes, Ace. There will be a lot of applicants who will be applying for this program next Monday. So they do have a selection process already in place. Based on the county's statistical data, 50% of this rent relief funding will be granted to renters who reside in zip codes that have been socioeconomically impacted by the pandemic and are at the most high risk of eviction areas. The other 50% of the program funding will be given to other applicants who will be categorized into service planning areas, which are the SBAs, depending on their zip codes. There is a formula that accounts for socioeconomic impacts from overcrowding to poverty levels by their SBAs. A list of all eligible applicants will then be generated. From there, it will be a random drawing selection from that listing.
I see. You also mentioned that this program does not apply to residents in the city of Los Angeles. Why is this program not open to all of LA?
This is true, Ace. Los Angeles County residents are eligible to apply for those programs, but not City of Los Angeles renters. The reason for this is that the City of Los Angeles received separate funding through the Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security, or CARES Act. So the City of Los Angeles has its own rent relief program for city residents to avoid any duplication of financial assistance. Los Angeles residents or those who live in City of Angeles are urged to contact MyLA311 by visiting lacity.org/MyLA311 or dial 311 to receive rental relief and assistance.
All right, so they can't dip their fingers into someone else's pockets.
No.
Thanks for the clarification, Emerson.
Thank you.
At least 10 Honolulu County employees test positive for COVID-19, prompting the mayor to order all government workers to work from home through September 6. In Honolulu, Bureau Chief Alfred DeSenes reports.
Now, just 2 days after serving as a bustling voting assistance center in downtown Honolulu last Saturday's primary election, the Honolulu Hale, which houses the mayor's office and the city council, has been ordered closed to the public effective immediately
after at least 10 employees who work there have been tested positive for the coronavirus. In an announcement by Mayor Kirk Caldwell on Monday, all government workers have been ordered to work from home through September 6. Offices are currently being sanitized while employees are undergoing testing. Since making that announcement, the mayor himself has gone into quarantine, but later that evening he announced on Twitter that the results from his test came back negative. Meanwhile, City Council Chairman Ikaika Anderson announced that he has decided to postpone upcoming council and committee meetings. Also, satellite city halls located in various locations throughout Oahu will remain open with stringent safety protocols in place and will receive customers by appointment only. Tax payments and other critical businesses will continue to be conducted at Honolulu Hale with a new check-in system in place. And to date, there are 48 City and County of Honolulu employees who have tested positive for COVID-19 from various departments, to include the Honolulu Fire Department, which has the most number, standing at 13, followed by the Budget and Fiscal Services and the Honolulu Police Department, each of them having 9 cases. And speaking of the Honolulu Police Department, to recall last week, Police Chief Susan Ballard announced that they will reinstate and enforce again some of the measures that have been put in place, especially in establishments like bars and other similar places throughout Honolulu. Here's Chief Susan Ballard.
Have created a COVID enforcement team that will be responding to complaints as well as proactive patrols, especially where we see large gatherings. There will be, in addition to regular patrol and our other regular officers who are out on the road, there will be an additional 160 officers island-wide, 7 days a week, in all of our 8 districts doing strategic enforcement. So with all this enforcement going on, and we've tried to warn people, educate people, and at this point, we're probably going to do very few warnings. It's going to be either citations or arrests. So we're just asking people to please abide by the emergency proclamation. We need to get the state open. We need to get our island open. We need to get back to normal.
The Hawaii Health Department has reported 140 new cases, bringing the statewide total to more than 3,600 cases. And sadly, 3 more lives have been claimed by the virus. All 3 of them lived here on Oahu, bringing the statewide total of fatalities to 34. Reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Alfred Asenas, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you.
Coming up, College Talk. We will return shortly. Stay with us. This is Eagle News, America.
Hi, I'm Vina Morales. Abangan ang part 2 ng Tagisan ng Galing dito lang sa Net 25.
This is Eagle News America. I'm Ace Ramirez in Washington, D.C. In a 2019 study by the EDUCAUSE Center for Analysis and Research, despite the willingness to use blended learning or the combination of in-person and online education, a significant number of teachers and students still prefer face-to-face instruction. Enter coronavirus. This disease has undeniably changed the education landscape globally. It may be said that schools and colleges are currently left with no other choice but to shift everything to virtual classes. For those entering college, this shift may be tough, especially if they are still deciding on what course to take and what to major in. Not to mention, what careers actually have a future given our situation today. Tonight, in an attempt to give ideas to our viewers who might be soon-to-be college students, let's ask our Eagle News team what factors they had to consider before finally deciding on their college majors. Let's start. Okay, EJ, what college, what did you major in, and what factors affected you in choosing that program?
Yeah, so I graduated Bachelor's of Science in Visual Communications and Digital Media Arts. So I wanted to pursue something that I had a passion for, and I think arts and photo editing was something that came during the days of MySpace. I just wanted to edit some photos, and when I went into high school, that took me into Photoshop classes and yearbook, and then from then on, I really loved what was happening, so I decided to pursue that furthermore in college, and it was a great decision. I'm able to work from home and still get the job done, and I'm able to assist a lot of my loved ones and friends, so it's definitely a good major choice for me.
Great, that's great. So the major factor is academics. All right,
I would say academics and also a passion for art and imagery.
That's right. Okay, so we have academics and passion. I want to hear someone who's going to say, I'm pretty sure Anna will say it's because of emotions. Anna, let me hear from you.
Well, you're right, Ace. So I majored in nursing, and that is because I wanted to help people. And how that started is I was working for a doctor's office already when I had my first son, and when he was a week old, he got really sick. He ran a really high fever, so they had to do a lumbar puncture on him because they thought that he would, that he might have had meningitis. And since I worked for that doctor, I met her in the hospital, and she asked me to help her hold my son while she did that procedure. So after that, I decided I wanted to go into nursing because I didn't pass out when I saw that needle, that long needle. So I thought I could handle that. So, and I really wanted to, to be able to help people. So that's why.
That's interesting. We have passion, academics, emotion in terms of not love life, but in a different way. Right. Let's hear from Emerson. Emerson, you're a psychology major?
Yes.
So what made you decide on getting into that?
Well, I wanted to help people in a different light. So I first shift my way to working in a school. And then I also had an opportunity to work in a clinical setting, which I get to be hands-on with dealing with patients and different types of patients, like demographics. So it gives me more of an idea how to counteract with people, how to deal with people's needs and concerns, and hopefully I could use my my major in a broader sense and hopefully find new, unique opportunities.
Did you ever find yourself psychoanalyzing people when you were younger?
I have, yes, I actually have. And I've actually used some of the methods and practices like through the books, and it really helped me through my jobs. So it's been really helpful, and I encourage people to use whatever methods and also use the experiences that they have and incorporating what they should do.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Let's go to Abby. Abby, I'm pretty sure this one is your answer is going to be different. I have a feeling it's going to be because of love life, because of your boyfriend, because of your ex, or someone who affected you personally, emotionally. Come on, Abby, tell us.
Nothing like that. Well, I took mass communication because I simply love telling story to hopefully help people be informed or be their voice. As simple as that.
I still haven't heard my favorite answer. It's because of a loved one affecting you or affecting you. Tom, okay, tell us, what made you decide on your major?
I thought I wanted to be a physician, so I did the basic pre-med program in my undergraduate, some clinical science. Decided that wasn't for me, so I started on a postgraduate program in public health. But I followed my heart. I dropped out of university to take a minimum wage job in a radio station as a DJ. That's where my heart was. The education, though, stood me in good stead, and that's something people should consider. You're going to change your career many times over your lifetime. The education will stand you in good stead, and mine did when I transitioned from being a DJ when I grew up and went into news and public affairs. Yeah. So go with your heart. It turned out to be a great career.
That's good advice too. If there was a pandemic during your college days, pre-college days, do you think you'd still go for the major you chose?
Probably. Even though we had in-person classes, they were very large classes at the undergraduate level, like about 300 people in the class. So there wasn't a lot of personal interaction. Today, you could accomplish that online.
That's true. That's true. Abby, how about you? If you had a choice, would you do it all over again?
All over again? No. No.
No, not do it all over again. You're going to stick to the same program.
Yes.
You're going to stick to the same program. Mass communication, that's your heart. I see. All right, how about you, EJ?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd go the same route. I would just follow my passion, and I definitely believe that everything will come to fruition with hard work.
That's true. That's true. Emerson?
For me, depending on the situation, if I had an opportunity, I would actually go through like more medical, and that could like really help people.
So something of a higher level.
Yes. Yeah.
I see. Anna, would you do it all over again? Would you consider shifting to a different program?
No, not at all, Ace. I'm very fulfilled in what I do. So, nope.
Well, thank you, guys. If I had a choice, I would have pursued a career in the food industry, management, hotel and restaurant management. That was my first choice. It so happened I couldn't get in the university that I was trying to get into. In that program, there's a certain number of people limited to get into that program, and I was not fortunate enough to get into it. But we're in our respective careers right now. We're having fun, and that's what's important. We're making money. We are able to help our family provide for their needs and our loved ones. That's what's more important. We're happy about what we're doing. According to the Princeton, well, thank you again, guys. Thank you for joining us in our banner today. According to the Princeton Review's Guide to Choosing College Majors, 4 things to consider are, number 1, choose a major that will prepare you for a career you want to pursue. Number 2, college is an investment, so consider your course's earning potential. after you graduate. Number 3, choose subjects you love because they will help you fully engage in the college experience. Number 4, if undecided, explore your interests during the first 2 years of college, then decide when it's time to declare a major. Before we end, we continue to thank our frontliners and essential workers with a round of applause. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thank you for joining us and hope you'll tune in again next time. I'm Ace Ramirez. We live in interesting times.